Hey everybody, Pat Palmer, the computer guy here for another edition of Pat's on Periscope for a Monday evening, the 7th of September. And this is our 12th week of getting together. It's kind of amazing that I've stuck it out this long, you might say. But no, we're excited to be here with another edition of Pat's on Periscope. I turn around here and minimize that real quick because that's kind of bright on the background there. So anyway, what we're talking about today is we're talking tech, we're talking social, and we're talking hoaxes. That's the pretty much the premise of Pat's on Periscope, which in turn ties in with a video blogging series I'm doing called Random Access. You can find that at www.randomaccess.bz, and we take the video from here, it goes to Periscope, and then we recycle this onto YouTube on about Tuesday or Wednesday, and then we post this video again on randomaccess.bz on Wednesday. So that's kind of the schedule with this. You know, a lot of my my friends who are on Periscope, they don't even realize they can save this video to their phone, let alone recycle it several times. If you do something in social media, instead of doing it once and then done, do it once and then recycle it several times. Use it in different blog posts or posts on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube or Google Plus if they still have that. Anyway, they do. But that's kind of a cool thing about YouTube is when you post it to YouTube, you can set it to automatically post to Google Plus. Gives you a little bit more traction in the search engine. So that's a little bit about what Pat's on Periscope is about, and www.randomaccess.bz. And today we're going to talk about, I had 3 topics today. On, let's see, I think it was Wednesday of last week, a lady called me and she said she just poured a glass of iced tea into her laptop. I don't think that was on purpose. Of course it wasn't on purpose. Who'd do that? Anyway, she had the misfortune of a glass of iced tea tipping over, landing on the keyboard of her laptop, and I mean, it went through the laptop. I got there on Friday. I gave her some instructions, of which she didn't follow, but we'll get into that in a second. And I opened the back of the laptop up, the bottom of the laptop up, and there was still tea that was dripping in and off the back plate of this would be the back plate. Still tea dripping off the back plate of the laptop, which was really scary. The hard drive, the back of the hard drive had a plastic layer on it, and the back of the plastic layer even had iced tea on it. So that's kind of what was the problem there. But the main thing is that her keyboard, here's pretty much the main thing on laptop keyboards. This is the laptop keyboard. The good laptop keyboards have a little plastic membrane on the back, and there is one on the back of this. You can't really see it, but there is a plastic membrane on the back of this. This will hold liquid, and so when you spill something on the keyboard, immediately, if the laptop doesn't turn off by itself, turn it off immediately. Turn it off. Take the battery out, unhook it from the power, and then just leave it off. Do not turn it back on. There's no reason to turn it back on. So make sure you turn the laptop off. This is what the lady did. She let it set for a couple days, then decided to turn it back on. Well, it could have really been worse because there was still iced tea left in the laptop that was still wet. I mean, it was still tea dripping out of it. And it's just going to possibly short some things out of your laptop. So when I got there on Friday, first thing I did is I took the keyboard out, unhooked the keyboard connector, and then I then turned the laptop back on. And so after I dried everything as much as I could out, after I unhooked the keyboard, I turned the laptop back on, laptop powered on. 99% of the time you spill anything on the keyboard, it shorts the keyboard out and goes through here, and then turns the computer off, or it doesn't work, or you have more problems. So anyway, that's the key, is leave the laptop off. Do not try and turn it on until you can get the keyboard off of it. And even though a keyboard comes off, order yourself a new one. This old one is junk, just throw it away. So you get yourself a new keyboard. what I usually do is I test it, turning it on, and seeing if it will turn on. Then run the mouse, turn it back off, and go from there. Then unplug the battery, unplug the power again, and then put in the new keyboard and see if that would work. And usually it does. So again, with most keyboards, they do have kind of a film or a membrane on the back of here, and that's a good thing because that a lot of times saves motherboards from getting hit by the iced tea or by the liquid that you have. So that is one thing to remember when getting a laptop. And you don't know that it does or that it doesn't, but most of them now have a keyboard with a plastic membrane on the back. So that's usually what saves the laptop. If you have a spill on the keyboard, if you have a spill a little higher, which affects the power button or the speakers or things like that, then you're just going to have more problems. So the keyboard in that case may not help, but 99% of spills I see are right across the keyboard, and that's what hurts the laptop. But anyway, make sure that you do not turn the laptop back on until I get there. I'll turn the laptop back on. There's no need to try and test it to see, well, what if? No, there's none of that what if stuff. Just leave it until I get there and can swap out the keyboard and see if it works. So that's usually what happens, and they're usually good to go after that. Again, this lady had a hard drive that was even had moisture on it, so I took the hard drive apart, or took the hard drive container apart, the cradle, I should say. Took the cradle apart, dried that out, got all that dried out, and underneath there was more of a metal shield that separated the base of where the keyboard sets to the motherboard, so it really didn't get wet. The ZIF connectors were protected with plastic, so I guess HP has been used to people tipping over glasses of water, iced tea, or Cokes or whatever into laptops. Now, if stuff is green, that means stuff is already corroded, so you're at a 50-50 shot there of anything ever working again. But usually that happens when you repeatedly try and start the laptop again. Same with a cell phone. Pretty much when you get them wet, they're zapped like that. Unless, of course, you take it to a professional who can not keep turning it on all the time, and putting it in a bag of rice doesn't help, and all that other hokey pokey stuff. It's actually the parts are ruined, so you have to replace the parts, and that's pretty much it with the laptop keyboard. Is this connector shorts everything out and turns the laptop off, or you won't be able to turn it back on, and all it is a keyboard usually. But we fixed that on Friday, and you're looking at a price of a new laptop or a price of keyboards. So that's where we're on that. Let's talk a little bit about social media real quick. There's going to be some changes to the Facebook business pages out there. You're going to notice that the Facebook on your business page or fan page, the graphic of your face is going to be smaller, or the little icon that you have is going to be smaller, and the graphic that you have as your main header is maybe about the same size, maybe a little bigger, but the buttons are going to be moved. The like and the call to action button and the message button are going to be moved below. So there's a line of about, I would say a half inch where you couldn't have any graphic, or you couldn't have any words there. Let's say you had your phone number along the bottom, they'd be blocked by the like button, they'd be blocked by the call to action button or the contact button or the message button. So this really helps people out. This is really going to help a lot of people out because of the fact that those buttons are no longer going to be blocking your text. So you can have more text on your page, or if that's where you have your website, or that's where you have your phone number or your tagline or whatever, that's going to be nice. Because I was thinking, well, one of these days I was going to have the design queen make some more graphics for my business page, but I was going to tell her she had to move the text up because I didn't want that to interfere with any of the call to action buttons down there. There's going to be one call to action button still on the header, but instead of having 3 buttons, there's going to be one. And then, of course, it says on the other side, it says the name of the page across there. I believe that's going to be moved down underneath the header as well. So the computer guy will be underneath the graphic and not on top of the graphic, next to the smaller icon that's been made smaller. So that's what a couple things there for Facebook fan pages. Again, if you're going to have a Facebook fan page, do it the right way. Don't just have a personal page and say it's Joe's Bar and Grill, and you can have Joe's Bar and Grill as a friend, and oh, today's Joe's Bar and Grill's birthday, and all that stuff. No, do it the right way and make Joe's Bar and Grill a fan page or a business page, because the marketing on that is so much better than if it's just a fan page. A fan page is only going to be broadcasting those people who like him as a fan, who are friends with him, and that's again, that's against the policies of Facebook. And so I've seen a lot of that where so-and-so hardware store or so-and-so bar have been personal pages. They need to be fan pages or business pages, and that's going to help straighten everybody out. The final thing is hoaxes. This is really, really disappointing, and they will take down your page if you do that too much. They'll see that, or they get turned in, or something like that, and they will take your page down if you have just a personal page as your fan page. The last thing that's really bothered me over the weekend is these travel vouchers. I see some imposters are impostoring Southwest Airlines, Carnival Cruise Lines, things like this. They're not the official Southwest Airlines. This is usually South Space Airlines dot or Carnival Space Cruise dot that are impersonating these major brands. And what they're doing is they're saying, well, we're going to be giving you so many vouchers and $5,000 and 5 vouchers. Just put your name and address underneath the comments. That's not smart. If you're worried at all about identity theft or some idiot coming to your house or the safety of your kids or the safety of your house or neighborhood, don't do that. That's not the official way to enter any contest. If you're putting your name and address on a Facebook entry, then they're doing it wrong, and you're doing it wrong because you're stupid. That is just one of the most ignorant things you could do, is just to put out your address. You don't know how many people are seeing that. And so anyway, I've collected about a dozen addresses off that. I'm going to mail them each a letter and tell them, sorry, you didn't win because it's a hoax. And then maybe here are the steps you need to take as safety steps to make sure that nothing happens. First of all, get yourself a security camera and make sure you check with the police department. Make sure that they may be patrolling your house a little bit better. Educate your kids a little bit on this, although it's not their fault. They didn't post their address. And just let maybe friends and neighbors know that you've done this and how ignorant you were in doing this. And they can maybe keep an eye out for your neighborhood or for your house. This is just very, very dangerous. And I've heard reports lately, even in rural Iowa around here, I broke down, my car broke down, I'm out of gas situations are starting to pop up again around here. And they're pretty much just basically trying to scout out farmhouses and seeing who's home and who's not home and what they can steal. So again, same thing. You don't know who's looking at that. If it was an official contest, it would take you to a separate page, and then you could fill out your name and address there, and it goes privately to that company over a secured network. Not just posting somewhere on some Facebook page their name and address. And that is just so scary. I don't think people understand how much of a risk and how scary that really could be. So when you see those pages, and of course I put hoax, 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 and they've blocked me off of those pages with the Carnival Cruise dot and the South blank Airline blank dot pages, because I've been trying to point out their hoaxes, and of course they're blocking me. And hey there, and I can't even put my own name and address in it. No, I wouldn't do that. But I have harvested several of those names and addresses, and like I said, I'm going to send them a letter and say, look, you've done this, and you've put all this in jeopardy. And I mean, if you're concerned about identity theft at all, this would be just a big red flag on the internet. I couldn't imagine people would do this. It's a hoax contest. They're not giving away 5 tickets to a cruise, and they're not giving you $5,000. I'd like to check back with these people in about 2 months to see whatever happened, but by this time, poof, they're gone, and they never come back. They just go out and harvest names, and they harvest email addresses, and then next thing you know, you're getting spammed or you're getting a visit from a thief in the night. So just be careful. Yep, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And these hoax sites are just terrible at trying to solicit people's names and addresses. Again, if you missed it at the start, we talked a little bit about spillage on your laptop, and thank goodness if you do it on your keyboard, shut the laptop completely off, take out the battery, take off the power, and just leave it until I get there. Like I said, 9 times out of 10, there is a plastic fiber or a plastic coating on the back here. That's so it holds the liquids in, kind of like a diaper. Anyway, holds the liquids in, and hopefully nothing gets jostled too much. But like I said, on Friday, when I opened the back of it up, there was still iced tea leaking completely through the laptop, and she dodged a major bullet with with those with all the tea that came through, and even that was sitting on her hard drive. So that's what we have for today. Again, under the social media, we got some changes coming to Facebook fan pages with the graphics and the call to action buttons being moved down, and your brand page being moved down. There's just going to be one call to action button on that, and that's going to help a lot of people, along with that your icon being made smaller. So that will give you more space to promote your brand on the headers. I know back in the day you couldn't have your phone number there, you couldn't have a call to action there, you couldn't have your website there. Now they've relaxed a lot of that, but still they do have just a few little rules, but most of them have been waived since Facebook first started their fan page or their business page app. So anyway, that is what we have today for Pat's on Periscope. Hope you've enjoyed your day off if you had the day off today for Labor Day. And again, you can find the replay of this on YouTube and on randomaccess.bz starting on Wednesday. So until next week, this is the Computer Guy saying adios, and we'll see you next week on Pat's on Periscope.